on the third line. What do you want to see consistently out of him as these playoffs go on?
You know, a lot of what we've seen. He's made some great plays offensively. He played well defensively. He's involved in our second power play, and you know, for a first NHL playoff game, that's a real good showing for him.
Has he exceeded your expectations when you go back to September, October? I mean, we knew he was, you know, pretty NHL ready, but has he exceeded things when you look back?
I mean, he was really highly thought of with the way he played in Rochester. You know, Mike down there just said this guy does a lot of great things. Plays well defensively. His reads and his playmaking ability are real good, and so, you know, I think the first 10 games I really got an appreciation for the way he played. And did he exceed him? I just was pleasantly surprised how well and how consistent he played, you know, after that.
Did you do anything yesterday to prepare him for first play?
I did not, no. I put him on the roster to play and said, let's get after it.
You know, I was...
have a guy that is so smart defensively but can be so creative offensively the way he plays.
I mean, he's a coach's dream because those are the type of players you don't really have to coach. He pretty well knows where he's going almost every time. Very few times in the D zone does he get out of position. His reads to his coverage or, you know, our part of our scheme are always really good. And, you know, I think at any time you have players that, you know, get close to that mark where almost 90% of the time they're doing the right thing, you get pretty effective lines and you get pretty effective centermen.
And you've you know, taken a hit injury-wise at centers this season. Noah's versatility, is that an illustration of this is why we have depth at this position?
Yeah, you know, I think anytime you can take a centerman and put him on wing, and then when you have somebody injured, you go with that next man up mentality. Our next man up, you know, this year has been him. It's been Krebs going from wing back into center. It's been Kozak that has gone from wing into center. So that versatility has been real important for us.
You know, we've beaten the power play drum to death, but the opposite of it is the confidence your team is showing on the penalty kill. How much has that just played into the entire season where your penalty killers seem to be in the right spot, they seem to block shots, the bench jumps up at every block shot, and it really goes through your whole team?
Yeah, you know, I think the energy on the bench with the Darlene penalty was, you know, everybody was saying we got to kill this for our captain, which is the right approach. Whether we like the penalty or not at that time of the game, it's, you know, this just falls in the grab a guy category and help him out. You know, Tomer was the same way, and I think Tomer later on said, I hope they were saying the same thing about me, because we needed another kill. And I thought our last two kills were our best kills. Our early kills, we got running a little bit, we got exposed, we got a couple big saves by our goaltender. Those last two kills were pretty solid, where we limited the type of opportunities that they were getting to a minimum.
And we've seen in this series, this is why we wanted to get Connor Timmins back. I mean, the way he's been able to block shots and get in lanes for you.
He played a real strong game, physical game, the shot blocking, the penalty killing. I thought breaking the puck out made some excellent decisions that got us up ice. Our puck play leaving the zone was a lot better in game two.
Lindy, this group comes in, first road playoff game and wins it. What does that do for the confidence? How do you even estimate what that kind of does, the energy it sends within the room?
Well, you know, talked to the team. I said we've been a good road team. We put together some really good stretches on the road where we played really well. And I said, you're going to get a different type of atmosphere, but I just believe in the way we need to play. And I thought we executed that to a T.
Kind of going off of that, after the Game 2 loss, you said you didn't want this team to come in here and not think they weren't going to win hockey games in Boston. How do you think that confidence was exemplified in the way they played last night? Well,
you know, I think to a man, we didn't like Game 2. I may have downplayed it a little bit on the outside, but we, to a man, didn't like the way we played in Game 2. We knew we could play a lot better. We knew we could have the puck a lot more. I felt we could generate more. And I thought we got to a point where we were starting to wear them out last night. Our ozone play and our puck movement was real good. And I look at the Tuck goal as just an example of that. Third period, you've got Zucker walking in, hitting the crossbar. You've got Greenway coming in at an angle, hitting the goal post. We had a lot of really good opportunities. So Game 3 compared to Game 2, I thought we played a lot better game.
Ryan McLeod doesn't show up a ton on the score sheet last night, but I mean, just the things he did within the game. I mean, how valuable is that? Like the PK,
I thought the face-offs was a big deal. You go to Game 2 and you come out of a first period where you've won 2 face-offs. I didn't spend much time on it, but that in itself was a sign that we didn't play very well. We didn't compete hard enough. There's no way you walk out of a period and you're 2-18 in face-offs, and we talked about that as a level of compete, and that compete wasn't good enough. And I think Clowder, he's at the forefront when it comes to a guy we need to win face-offs, because we usually use him with no right-handed draw. He's got to take him on the offhand. It's a tougher draw, so we need to dig in harder. And I thought we dug in last night. I think at the end of the night we were 51%. That's a lot better place to be.
You mentioned that maybe you downplayed Game 2 a little bit. Was there like a concerted effort on your part to kind of project that calm for your team, especially given it was the first loss they'd had to take in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think if this was a veteran team, if it was a veteran-laden team with a lot of playoff experience, yeah, there would have been. I didn't want to create any more stress on our group. I didn't want to give you guys any more questions to ask them about what went wrong, how come this was bad. We'll deal with that stuff on the inside. And you look at a group that a lot of them played their first playoff game in Game 1. We had some guys play their first playoff game in Game 3, and a lot of them played their first road playoff game in Game 3. So my understanding was, let's not get too carried away here and know that we've responded to when we haven't played that well.
Marco talked about how you guys were whacking Swayman a lot last night, and felt his goalie was getting pushed around. You got any reaction to that?
I think the one play I looked at, I felt the puck was still loose.
Bottomless pucks, yeah.
Yeah. If the puck's loose, we have to be there. I think maybe there was one situation where he had it covered, that he's got a legit gripe. I've got a legit gripe with Thompson getting tripped a couple times, and there's no call on that. But that's part of the playoffs. You have to deal with that. You look at the Thompson call at the end. His trip, when he got tripped, was a lot worse than him sticking the stick out on their guy. So when you go through the playoffs, there's highly emotional parts that you don't agree with as a coach. There's a lot of stuff I didn't agree with them, and I'm pretty sure when they go through the game tape again today, they're going to go, boy, did they get away with this? And it's a hard time of the year.
I feel like the refs tried to limit some of that after the whistle stuff, but they were pretty quick on that Krebs call early.
Yeah, we were warned. We were warned. I warned our team, and we failed that test. We were warned that they weren't going to put up with the after the whistle stuff, and they're going to take one guy, and the first guy that puts the fist in the other guy's face is going to get called. So totally expected that to be called.
How much do you manage this period? Now, this is more like the conference final or final, having 2 days off as opposed to the first round. How do you want your guys to manage this period before 2 o'clock Sunday?
Just rest today. I mean, really, we just played 3 games in 5 nights. Highly emotional games. Mentally draining. Just take it easy today, and we've got all our people here that for off-ice therapy, from treatments, massage, you name it. Just get yourself ready for a light skate tomorrow, and know that we're in for facing one hell of a game on Sunday.
When you think of the way you downplayed sort of maybe the things you didn't like about Game 2 and how you handled the players, how much smarter are you about knowing how to deal with that now in your career than you might have been earlier in your career?
I'd probably put it, I've gained a lot of experience when it comes to being highly emotional. I mean, I used to argue with Mike at times. I don't do that anymore.
You don't.
Let's see.
We'll see.
You know, I think you learn. I've had to learn hard lessons about getting too emotional and maybe at times being too hard on players and being too hard on games. And, you know, I've gone from a coach who used to dress the team after every game to hardly going in after games anymore. To, you know, digest the game first, take a look at it with the other coaches, and then we'll deal with it most of the time the next day.
Did that come mostly out of New Jersey or Dallas or a little both? Or?
It just came from just deciding that the only guy that feels really good after a game when he goes in there and is a little upset is me. Doesn't do anything for anybody else. I myself have to take responsibility for my actions too at times, and I think over the years you got to learn to be a better person, a better coach, and I think I've adapted to that.
What have you seen from Dowling pregame so far?
Good. I think there's been ups and downs with his game, but it's his first playoff experience too, and I fully expected ups and downs with a lot of our guys. It's their first crack at being involved in highly emotional games, and you know, can you keep your emotions in check? When we're talking about my emotions, I got to talk about theirs. So, you know, can you keep your emotions in check when the game's on the line and make the right play? I thought last night we made a lot of great plays under pressure. Got out of the zone great under pressure. We had the right reads. We had the right composure. And, you know, when it comes to Dolls, I thought he got up the ice really good on 4 or 5 plays. He was a lot more active when it came to puck play in the offensive zone. And he's getting his first taste, and I think that he'll just continue to get better.
How hard was that for you to change your competitive fire? Because you know how you were as a player in the early days as a coach, but you have like to be able to
I don't know if I've really changed it. I just changed the time I address it. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lindy.